Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's episode of Scandal. And Governor Vargas is making his official pitch to Cyrus by the end of this episode to be his chief of staff while he runs for or heads up his run for president. We have a really crazy scene between Jake and Olivia, and Fitz is just like the worst. Once again, he is like a horny teenage boy in this episode, and he is just dropping his pants to any girl that bats an eye at him. So lots went down. And once again, Cyrus Bean is pulling all the strings. He is just the absolute puppet master. He covets. He's still trying to get Governor Vargas to, try to run for president. And he lies and tells him some story about his when he was 17 and his younger brother got hit by a car and he almost died. All this stuff about him getting into Harvard. I mean, it's by the end of it, it's a complete and utter lie. And that is just Cyrus at his best. And he was just working his magic all the way through. He's slowly telling the president, oh, this Vargas guy's just here, basically using his 15 minutes of fame. Just sit down and have another meeting with him about the education bill, and so that they can be at odds with it, so that he can then get on the Liberty Report and all this. Like, Cyrus is just too good. Like, he's so slimy, but he's so good at it. And that's one of the reasons why he's such a great character. And right off the top, we see Melly and, signing some books. And Fitz finds out that that Melly and Olivia have been working together. And so he's cheesed at that when he finally has a face-to-face with Olivia, which they haven't had in quite a while. I mean, the fact that Fitz is banging some girl in his room and the kid comes in and he's not like, no, let me see you in the hallway or something. He just lets his son see this woman in a robe come out of the bathroom. I mean, so distasteful, but so typical Fitz at this point. And of course, I loved it when Olivia ripped a strip off of him and was like, is this really who you want to be? Like, his Secret Service men are killing or letting strippers die, and like she said, you're the head of of the fish. So basically, they're taking the lead from you, and you're being reckless, you're being careless, you're being selfish, all these things. And is this how you want to finish out your presidency? You've got like these girls running through the White House. Abby's basically got this protocol now that she's got to do. And I thought it was so funny when Susan Ross came off the elevator. She was like, standing there at the elevator door waiting for it to open, expecting it to be some woman ready to go have fun with the president, but yet it was Susan Ross. So I thought that was pretty funny because she's like, phew, finally somebody who's actually here for business. And and I like that speech that Fitz gives her, which is, don't ever lie to the American people. If this is what you really like, then say it. And, from this point forward, I'm going to be the president that you want to endorse you, because he's obviously saying to Elizabeth or Susan that he's going to endorse her, not his wife, ex-wife. So that's going to be coming down the pipes, which is good. All this stuff with David Rosen in the middle is icky, and I cannot stand it at all. So it just needs to stop. I can't stand Lizzie Bear and her, trying to get in the middle of it. Just yuck. I do like Susan. I think she's adorable. I think she's absolutely the cutest thing ever. So I don't mind him with her, but the whole, him just doing all this so that he can hook up with Liz is gross. And then that scene when she's like, drop your pants in the office, I was like, ew. So, we had the case of the week, obviously, which I touched on earlier, which was with the Secret Service men, and then they had allowed this stripper to basically die, and then she hit her head on a table, then they put all this heroin in her, and then she died. But anyways, they were trying to cover it up, and then Fitz finds out from Olivia, and then he basically, says, no, not on my watch, like this kind of reckless behavior is not going to happen. So, the Secret Service men are taken away by the FBI by the end of the episode. So Olivia's been following Jake, and because she wants to know who this woman is that he's been dating. And, to me, it just sounds like she's a jealous woman stalking him, like, does this whole background check on who this woman is. And I like that even at one point, oh, what's her name that works for her, Quinn, was like, she's bored. Like she was running basically she was running the White House, and now she's stepping over dead hookers in hotel rooms. Obviously, she's very disengaged right now, and something's missing. And so, which I agree with. So her trying to like find out who this woman is, and obviously she's trying to figure out what her father and Jake are really up to, because, like she said, he killed the head of the NSA so that he could get this position. Like him dating this woman, it has to be about something. It can't just be all of a sudden he's with this girl. So there's the scene when Olivia's sleeping and she turns around like abruptly and he's standing there. It's like so creepy. I mean, what is going on? And so then, he's standing there and he's like, oh, you've been following me and blah, 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 blah. And he says, oh, she's perfect. She's this, she's that, but she's not you. And then he basically does his business with her. And it's like, obviously they've got great sex. Nobody's denying that. And she gets all turned on and she's like, whatever. But I'm like, what the hell is going on in this? Like, she is just not in control here at all. And it's creeping me out. And then at one point she's like, no, stop. And so it's like really abrupt. And then he's like, goodbye, Olivia. And then later on she goes to her dad's house at the end of the episode and she surprises him. And then she walks in on Jake with the woman. And then they're basically announcing their engagement. Word. This is obviously a deeper, long game plan that's going on between the father and Jake. So very interested to find out. Am I interested? I mean, I am, but I just hope they don't play this thing and run it out to the ground. But, that was a very interesting scene. And obviously her talking to Jake in the bedroom and all that kind of stuff that played out was just interesting. And then, of course, we had the scene with Olivia going to see Fitz in the Oval when she hasn't been there in a while. So she goes up to the desk. She runs her hand along the desk. Like, obviously, she misses it. She misses the power and everything that came with that position. But she doesn't want Fitz, and that's what happens. You break up with him and he's gone now, so you got to move on, right? So so she's having this conversation and she tells him about the Secret Service men and all this blah blah blah. And then she's basically like, look, you can do whatever you want, you can bang whatever you want, but don't let your son see you with some woman in a robe that he doesn't know who it is. She's like, what are you, Big Jerry now? So I was like, that's right, call it. Because I think it was season 2 or 3 where he had revealed to Olivia that he had seen his father having an affair with this secretary or something, like when he was little. So he's like, so are you now Big Jerry and you're letting your son see you with these women and all this kind of stuff? And, she dug deep in that one and I liked it. And then, she was saying some other things, just like, is this really the man you want to be? And it was just like, yeah, you're just off the rails right now. And it's not even like he's doing it because I don't even feel like he's doing it because he's mad that Olivia's not with him. He's single. So he's banging everything and that's fine. But I mean, like, ew. Ew. So, yeah. So all that went down. But again, I think the, master manipulator was at his best. And at the end when, Vargas is like, he's like, he basically says, will you run my campaign? And they have a toast and everything, blah, blah, blah. And then his husband is like, I didn't know you had a brother. And he's like, I don't. And I'm like, oh my God. And then what's going on with Tom? Okay. Because at the very beginning, he's like fixing Cyrus' tie. I'm like, are these, like, I feel like these two, there's something going on there. And I think it's going to come out that Tom's gay and him and Cyrus have been hooking up. I'm just saying, because in that car that, just the way how close he was sitting to him, and he's like, and now like basically Tom's on his speed dial, like he just does everything for Cyrus, and he finds out that the governor's daughter has cancer, and that's why he didn't want to run for president in the first place. So that is why Cyrus comes up with this big convoluted lie about his brother. Boom, gets him to say that he's gonna run. So there it is. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode. I liked it. I liked it better than last week's episode, which, no, they didn't have an episode last week. The week before, which seemed a little all over the place. This one seemed better. But I need to know, this stuff with Jake is just really creeping me out. And I don't like it. So I think like Jake is an interesting character, but he's twisted. And can we just get Olivia away from all of these dudes and maybe no love for her, just get her away from these guys. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.